There's some very, very good ones around nowadays. There's a man, John Bradshaw, have any of you heard of him? He made one called Homecoming. Very good book. And he mentions that grief is the healing emotion. Grief is the healing emotion. If you are not prepared to feel your grief, you will never heal. The truth is that our mind is meant to be, and the way God designed our mind is it's just meant to be the stupid servant of our soul.
You mean obedient?
Yeah, and stupid. It is stupid. Well, you think about your mind. You go and do something, and half the time in a day, you've got no idea why. Be honest. How much time in a day do you spend doing something, and if you really sat down and felt about it, you'd realise you didn't want to do it? You've got no idea why you're doing it. Why is that? Because you're not trusting your soul, and your mind has become dominant. You feel you have to do it. Right? You're not trusting what's inside of here. You're wanting to do it. You're wanting to do something different. Right? And this is the problem with your mind, is if you let your mind be dominant, you are going to do a lot of things in your life that you're going to regret later. So I'm talking about feelings that are positive in terms of pure desire type of feelings. Right? When you follow those, everything always works. Intuition is of the soul, and we'll talk more about sort of how to start trusting your intuition. Mind you, if my emotions in my soul are very negative, for example, if I have these huge feelings of unworthiness, where's my intuition going to lead me now? It's going to lead me down into attracting all of this unworthy things, triggering this unworthiness. I'm going to be treated unworthily, aren't I? With the law of attraction. So bear in mind that only when we connect in a way with God's truth is our intuition even trustworthy. Your mind is no good at determining truth. Right? The reason why is because all the truths that God created are soul truths. In fact, there's the only area that you'll ever be able to progress to in the spirit world, if you trust your mind, is the sixth sphere. Because when you trust your mind, you're not trusting anything outside of your mind generally. You've become self-reliant rather than God-reliant. Right? There's this whole area of truth, and in fact the majority of the truths of the universe are based around soul truths. They're not based around the intellect at all. So if you are constantly trying to use the intellect to work out truth, eventually you're going to work out so much truth to the degree of a sixth sphere spirit, but you will not progress beyond that point. An affect emotion is anger or fear. They're all effects. They're not the real reason why you're feeling what you're feeling. They're just the reasons that you select in order to not feel the underlying emotion. They're the choices you make so that you don't have to feel the underlying emotion, which is even more difficult for you to feel. All of my money has been stolen. I'm feeling fear, but that's not the real emotion. Right? The real emotion is actually underneath the fear. I'm feeling anger, but that's not the real emotion. The real emotion is underneath the anger. That's the emotion I need to let myself feel. And I choose anger, and I choose fear, and I choose these other things in order to not feel the underlying emotion. The causal emotion, the core emotion that created these other feelings. So when I'm talking about becoming soul dominant, I'm saying don't do those things, because those things are actually the mind choosing to deny the underlying emotion. When you no longer deny the underlying emotion, whatever that is, then those emotions will not come up in you.